Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is already taking the world by storm, and in this video, we're going to talk about everything you need to know about this game. So let's jump right in. The first thing you want to know is that this is a third-person arena-style fighter, so what that means is you're not playing it like Street Fighter where its characters on a 2D existence. You can move in any direction, and this game is really trying to mimic insane Dragon Ball moments and make you feel like you're part of a fight in the anime. In practice, this means that a lot of characters are going to control very similarly, although they will all have unique abilities, but you don't come to this game expecting kind of esports balance or esports performance. You come to this game expecting an amazing Dragon Ball sandbox, making you feel like you're living out your Dragon Ball fantasy. And speaking of gameplay, that brings us to point number 2. So this game is going to be faster moving than any Dragon Ball game beforehand. Not only is it going to be faster, but you're going to have new offensive, defensive, and movement options. So you'll have options to close space really quickly, get away really quickly, teleport behind your opponents, you'll be able to interrupt combos, reverse big moves, and so much more. The gameplay is building off of the Budokai Tenkaichi series, but adding in new layers of Dragon Ball goodness. You want this game to be fast-paced, and it looks like that's what it's going to be delivering. I would almost say this is Dragon Ball gameplay on steroids, but that's not true because all it's trying to do is replicate the absolutely insane speed of a Dragon Ball fight. By the way, Sparking Zero is going to have 2 control schemes. One's going to be the default standard one with kind of the updated modernized controls, but if you want to play it more like the old Budokai Tenkaichi games, it also has an option for that. Now let's move on to number 3. You won't be able to create characters in this game, but you will be able to customize every character. So characters will have different outfits you can select and unlock, plus you'll be able to apply capsules to change their stats, and their stats will govern how they perform during fights. And really that brings us to point number 4, which is about the roster. Holy moly. This game has 182 characters if you include the pre-order bonuses from the get-go. That's insane, and it's going to be adding dozens of more characters through paid updates. Sparking Zero has all sorts of characters, from the ones that you need to have in there like a Gogeta or a Broly, to deep cuts, and it spans everything from original Dragon Ball from when Goku was just a little kid, to the upcoming Dragon Ball series Daima, where Goku is seemingly a little kid again. This game even has GT characters, so, you know, I don't want to hear it from all of you GT apologists how you're never recognized or not treated well. The video games treat you well. Also, I'm just kidding, don't come at me. Just note, you'll have to unlock many of the characters in this game. I think you start with maybe 100, so you'll basically have to unlock almost half the roster. Now let's move on to point number 5. We're talking about story episodes. So in this game, they're not just rehashing the Dragon Ball story, because let's be real, we have gone through the Dragon Ball story thousands of times in so many different formats. So instead, the episodic format has you selecting a character and kind of following that character's arc. So of course, you can select Goku, get most of the Dragon Ball story that way, but you can make some interesting selections like Jiren or Trunks or even Goku Black. Now, the one thing that's really interesting about this is that what if scenarios will happen organically in this mode. So when you're playing these episodes, you can make decisions that are different than what happened on the show. And sometimes these decisions will lead to wildly different outcomes, whereas other times they might circle back to the original story. I think this is a great way to do a Dragon Ball story because you can have the highlights from the shows that you know and love, but you can also have new stuff. Plus, the way it's set up leads me to think, hey, there's room for paid DLC story in the future if that's what they want to do. Either way, I'm just glad we're getting a different twist on the story because look, I love Dragon Ball. I've seen the entirety of Dragon Ball a bajillion times. I've played through it a bajillion times, but we gotta have something fresh there. And hopefully that's what story episodes are gonna deliver. Now let's move on to online and split screen. You're gonna have online ranked battles. You're gonna have tournaments that you can customize and play online or offline. And yes, you are gonna have split screen. So split screen's a bit interesting because it originally wasn't going to be in the game, but fans demanded it. So they were able to add in some limited split screen in the sense of you can only play inside of the hyperbolic time chamber, better known as hypersonic lion chamber in some circles, I don't know, maybe. But basically, due to technical limitations and certain consoles not being able to handle everything, that's what we're getting. I imagine on PC, modders are probably going to put in all of the stages right away for split screen and that won't be an issue. But just so you know, this is the default split screen experience and it's what you can expect on consoles. Now let's move on to custom battles, and this is the thing I'm most excited for in Sparking Zero. You can create and share your own Dragon Ball scenarios. So it doesn't look like you can really type in your dialogue specifically. You can't make Goku say like no cap or Riz or whatever the kids say these days, but you'll be able to create all sorts of gameplay scenarios and create your own story scenes with their own transitions and moments and pre-selected dialogue options. I really can't wait to see this in action because I'm assuming there are going to be so many unhinged scenarios. I can't wait to play all of your scenarios where Goku is trapped and betrayed in the hypersonic lion tamer yet again. Pour one out for Gohan. His family is going to be destroyed so many times in order for him to power up in a bajillion different fanfics. And I'm excited to play out all of the memes like Gohan Blanco or Goten did it, or whatever the case may be. Custom battles, I think, is going to be super refreshing, super fun, and adding that little bit of flavor to just fighting, I think, goes a long way. Moving on now to point number 8, you might be wondering, what's up with the name Sparking Zero? Well, this is the 4th Budokai Tenkaichi game, yes, but these games were always called Sparking in Japan. In the West, they were called Budokai Tenkaichi to maybe capitalize on the Budokai series, which was more of a traditional fighting game series. But like I said, the game's been called Sparking for a long time in Japan, so globally now we're calling this one Sparking Zero. But folks, right now what I want to know is how excited are you for Sparking Zero? What are you going to do when you pop that game open for the first time? Are you going to try to recreate some classic fights? Are you going to try to make your own custom scenarios? What's the plan? I want to know. Let me know in the comments below. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited for this game. I hope you are too. I hope it lives up to all of the hype. I can't wait to play it. I'll see you next time in a million other Sparking Zero videos.